Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the new moon. It's on July 24. It's at 2 degrees of Leo. It's making an opposition to Pluto, a sextile to Uranus, and a trine to Saturn and Neptune. And if that sounds like it's intense, you are correct. It is. Let's talk about it. Now, before I go too much into the new moon, I did want to mention an upcoming date, and that is August 8th. August 8 is the Lion's Gate, and I've done a video in the past about this, but this upcoming Lion's Gate energy is going to be quite different. And that is because the minor grand trine is going to shift into a kite pattern because Mars will be in early degrees of Libra. That is a very intense configuration. I'm going to talk about it in a video, but I wanted to give you a heads up just in case I didn't get that video out in time, that a few days before August 8 and a few days after, and of course August 8 itself, be mindful when you are out in the world. So now let's talk about this new moon in Leo making an opposition to Pluto, and this is an exact opposition. And an opposition energy is quite different than a square. In an opposition energy, there's kind of a projection of your issues onto the other person and vice versa. And so this can, when you don't trust someone, you might think that they are not trusting you, or in other situations, this could be the thief that accuses other people of stealing, or the cheater who says that their partner is cheating. So with this new moon as an opposition to Pluto, everybody is trying to set a boundary or a border and saying, do not cross this line. And at the same time, they are crossing the line. And so the idea is that you're walking across a person's line and setting a border telling them not to cross that line. And so, of course, that's really intense energy, and we're seeing that play out in the world already. But for you personally, this could be very useful energy because as an individual, you can make choices, whereas the group sometimes can't. So the opportunities that you have are based on the sextile to Uranus, which gives you a whole bunch of other paths that you can take to your destination. And you have Saturn with Neptune, and that's a trine to this new moon. And that is the energy of having this blueprint of what it is that you want to accomplish, or the life that you're trying to create. In the world astrology, what we call mundane astrology, there is a big push to try to establish borders or boundaries. But those borders or boundaries might be in somebody else's territory. And then the other people get upset about that, and no one with this opposition is willing to compromise. But in your individual life, you can make changes. And that is that first you identify what's no longer working in your life, what is dead and needs to be buried. That's the Pluto. Then with the sextile to Uranus, you can figure out all of these new paths that are opening up for you. And then the Neptune and Saturn combination helps you establish a real direction for yourself. But the loudest voice here is going to be Pluto. So the bottom line here is that Pluto is going to reveal what it's going to take to empower you to gain what you want. Uranus then offers you different paths to get to that point, and Saturn and Neptune give you the steps in order to get there. And this is a great opportunity for you because to have all of these major planets line up with this new moon is very rare. And so over this next 2 weeks, you can make a lot of progress. And of course, if you would like some help with this and you want to know what's up ahead for you in 2025 and 2026, I do readings. There's a link in the description. Okay, Scorpio, this new moon is lighting up your chart. It's right at the top of your chart, which means you're more noticeable than usual. That is really good for getting attention for your art, your music, your resume. So all of that is great. The point of power, or the point that you may be afraid to go to, is right at the base of your chart, which is the foundation in which you're building everything. And so the cracks in the foundation could be some sort of feeling like you're an imposter or feeling like you're not ready. And those are the fears that if you face those now and you clear those out, that can lead to some real success. But right now, those fears that maybe you thought were buried or didn't even exist, now they are visible and you're able to deal with them. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, it's hard to say sometimes. Of course, with this new moon elevated in your chart, you are very visible. And that means that it's very easy for you to find people who are attracted to you. People will cross the room to meet you. So you want to be in as many social situations over this next 2 weeks as you can find. If you are in crowds, you can meet people. If you're at parties, you can meet people. If you're out doing business networking, you can meet people. So you want to be out and about. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, there's a little bit of a clash between you and your partner, and there is this real strong need to work it out. And this is something you can work out. This is something where maybe you're defining terms differently, maybe your values are different, maybe your goals are different, and you don't realize it. And it's just a matter of having the conversation to find out what they believe about this and what you believe about this, and so you can find the middle ground. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from Jupiter, and it's in an area where you might consider like doing procedures, like you write out how you get things done. What's your criteria for making an investment decision? How do you send out an invoice to someone? And this is the precursor to you in the future, maybe hiring people or expanding your business through some sort of automation. But right now, it's very much about documentation. If you document what it is that you do, then someone else can do it for you. Now, when it comes to investments or money from your business, Mercury's making a semi-sextile to Jupiter, and Mercury, of course, is retrograde. And so this is about going back over some small details and cleaning some things up. That's what brings you some extra money. So this might be that you're being overcharged by your broker, or that, some of the fees aren't being collected through your website, or things like that. There's some small things, some details that when you clear those up, you actually start to make more money. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, you have such a strong career chart right now, and you're one of the few that is doing an aspect for making more money in your career. Unfortunately, it's not a super strong aspect because it is a semi-sextile and Mercury is retrograde. So if you've already started the conversation about having more money, like getting a raise, getting a new position, you could continue that conversation and bring it to some sort of resolution. But if you're just starting out, your conversation is probably going to extend over the 2-week period. Additionally, if you are looking for a new job, your job prospects are very strong, but it would be ideal if you sign your new employment contract outside of the retrograde period. And if you want to know, that is August 11. Okay, this is the third section of this video, and I have a couple of quick announcements, and then we're going to continue talking about finding the hidden money in your chart. I teach a free class once a month. It is on August 1st. It's at 12 p.m. Pacific time. It's by Zoom. It's called New Month Wishes, and what we do is we talk about the astrological happenings that are going to be occurring over the course of the month, and then we write our monthly wishes together, and then we do a short meditation to energize them together. The class is about an hour. It's really fun. There is a link to register in the description so you can get the Zoom link and join us. And then members of this channel get exclusive access to special videos, deep dive videos, and videos about other topics. And so if you're interested in joining and becoming a member, the join button is by the subscribe button. So let's continue our discussion about finding the hidden money in your chart. And by the way, I do have a video course on this topic. There's a link in the description. So last time we talked about finding your money planet based on the sign that was on the second house cusp. And so hopefully you now know that planet. Now, you have more than one money planet, but this is the one that is associated with the second house. And by the way, if you are uncertain about which planet that is for you, you can send me your info. I will send you a PDF of your chart. Just put into the subject line that you want to know your money planet. So last time we talked about the different sources of money that could come to you based on the position of that money planet. This time, I want to talk about the actions that you can do to uncork the blocks that you might have when it comes to making money. So we're going to start with kind of an overview, and then in future videos we can chunk down and get to more specifics. But we're going to start by dividing our chart into just 4 pieces, and that'll be 4 quadrants. So the first quadrant would be houses 1, 2, and 3. Second quadrant would be 4, 5, and 6. A third quadrant would be 7, 8, 9. And then the fourth quadrant will be 10, 11, 12. So in that last video, I outlined how to find your money planet. So hopefully you still know where that is. And so you are going to find what quadrant that money planet is in. So you're going to go to your second house cusp, look at the sign, and then find the planet that rules that sign. And I'm calling it your money planet just for the sake of this video to make it simpler. But this planet, of course, does other things in your chart, and it potentially rules other houses, it rules other things. And so, but right now we're focusing on the money side. So if your money planet falls in the first quadrant, so that would be first house, second house, or third house, then it's very important that you deal with money blocks and then take an action towards making more money. And so by money blocks, I mean there might be a fear of failure, a fear of success, a fear of talking to people about money matters, or being angry with money, or having some effects from childhood still affect you now when you are making money. All of these types of things can be considered money blocks. And then blocks like this are removed by doing things like tapping, hypnosis, journaling, talking to someone who is, doing some sort of therapy. And so once you have looked at what the block is and done what you can to remove it, then go take an action in the world. And that will really open the money floodgates. So the bottom line is you clear the issue, then take an action. And if another issue comes up, you clear that and then take an action. Now, if your money planet falls in the 4th house, 5th house, or 6th house, and that would be the second quadrant, then it is all about you interacting with others by doing the things that you do well. That is, you go do the things that bring you joy, you do the things that are helpful to others, and that opens the money floodgates for you. So in other words, if you are of service to others, if you help others, but by doing the things that you enjoy doing, that creates this joyful energy that opens the money floodgates. If your money planet falls in the 3rd quadrant, that would be houses 7, 8, or 9, then you open the money floodgates through collaboration. And that means that as you meet more people, as you connect with people, you have more money opportunities. And so starting out, the collaboration could be something super tiny, like saying hi to someone as you pass them on the street, or helping a stranger unlock a shopping cart. But ultimately what this is supposed to lead to is to business collaborations and connections where people help you get a job, or help you get a promotion, or help you expand your business. And so basically meeting a lot of people and connecting with a lot of people opens the money floodgates for you. So if your money planet falls in the 4th quadrant, so that would be houses 10, 11, or 12, then it's about being part of the community. That's the one that will open the money floodgates for you. And so that can be everything from, going and working at the local coffee shop to actually being an influencer, or, joining meetup groups, or starting your own meetup group, going into professional organizations and doing network that way, going to conventions and conferences, or actually getting to a point where you're speaking at those conferences. But it starts with something very simple, and even like when you're stuck on the freeway, to think about all of the people and all the cars around you, and that is your community. And as you are in your community, then you are recognized, and that opens the money floodgates. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any astrological questions you want me to cover on this channel, please let me know. Consider subscribing to the newsletter. The newsletter is a weekly overview of the aspects that are going to be happening, and it has some really cute pictures of black cats. And so if you like black cats, it's really good to subscribe, and that subscription's free. and I will see you in the next video.